No plus. Now let us see today the electrolysis process and the different important terms related with it. We'll try to understand with this diagram that is given. Now, this apparatus which has been used in the process of electrolysis has been given a name known as electrolytic cell, or we call voltmeter. So it is a non-conducting vessel containing two electrodes immersed in a solution of electrolytes used to bring about a chemical reaction. The definition of electrolytic cell. Now, in this electrolytic cell, we have got an electrolyte, and electrolyte is a substance which conducts electricity either in molten state or in aqueous state. So, in electrolytic cell, we have got an electrolyte. It can be a salt solution. Now, in this electrolytic cell, we have got two electrodes immersed in it. One is anode and other is cathode. Now, these two electrodes are connected to a electrochemical cell, we can say, or a battery. And the connection should be the anode is a positive electrode and the cathode is a negative electrode. We must remember that the positive part of the electrode is always connected to the positive part of the battery, positive terminal, and the negative electrode is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. Once the battery is connected, current starts flowing through it. As the current flows, this electrolyte will decompose into ions, positive and negative ions. And after decomposing into positive and negative ions, there will be a migration of the ions. Say, for example, if you take a sodium chloride solution, sodium will be positive and chloride will be negative. So in that case, after that, the migration of the ions will take place. Means Na plus, which is cation or positive, will move to the negative electrode, that is cathode. It will gain electron and neutralize. Similarly, a negative ion, or anion we call it, will move to the anode. It will lose an electron and it will turn into neutral. And this whole process has been termed as electrolysis. So we are very clear with the different terms that we have used. Now, in last class, the last topic that we discussed was anode and cathode, difference between anode and cathode. So anode, it is the electrode connected to positive terminal of the battery, and cathode is the electrode connected to the negative terminal of the battery, as explained. At anode, anions migrate to anode and cations migrate to cathode. It is an oxidizing electrode. Oxidation takes place at anode because loss of electrons takes place, whereas at cathode it is a reducing electrode because reduction takes place, that is gaining of electrons. Next today we'll discuss about difference between cations and anions. Cations and anions. Cations are positively charged ions, anions are negatively charged ions. Migrate to the cathode during electrolysis, migrate to the anode during electrolysis in case of anions. Cations gain electrons from the cathode and get reduced to become a neutral atom. Example are Na plus, Ca2 plus, Al3 plus. Whereas anions lose electrons to the anode and get oxidized to become a neutral atom. Example, PO4 3 minus, Cl minus, SO2 minus, all these are anions. Next we will discuss about two very important terms, oxidation and reduction. We have discussed many times in our previous classes in class 8, 9s. Once again, we will discuss or we will make clear the oxidation and reduction process. Oxidation in the electronic concept is defined as the process in which an atom or ion loses electron. That means loss of electron, we call it as oxidation. Say for example, zinc loses 2 electrons to Zn2 plus, sodium loses 1 electron to Na plus. So the loss of electron we call it as oxidation. Oxidation is also defined as a chemical process which involves the addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. So these are the other definitions of oxidation and reduction. Addition of oxygen, oxidation, removal of hydrogen, also oxidation. So example, carbon plus oxygen, carbon dioxide oxidation. Removal of hydrogen, example, we can have H2S plus chlorine giving you 2HCl plus sulfur. Over here, if you see from H2S, hydrogen has been removed, okay, and it has been reduced to sulfur. Similarly, we have got the definition of oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent is one that oxidizes other substances by either accepting electrons or by providing oxygen or an electronegative ion. So the examples of oxidizing agent we can have solid manganese dioxide, lead dioxide. Similarly, in liquid we can have hydrogen peroxide, nitric acid, sulfuric acid. All these are oxidizing agents. In gases we can have oxygen, hydrogen, chlorine, sulfur dioxide. Similarly, reduction on the basis of electronic consent is the process in which an atom or an ion gains electrons. So copper ions gain 2 electrons to form copper neutral atom. Fe3 plus gain 1 electron to form Fe2 plus. Similarly, reduction is also defined in another way. Say for example, it is defined as chemical which involves removal of oxygen or addition of hydrogen, just the opposite of oxidation. So removal of oxygen, copper oxide plus hydrogen giving you copper plus water. Over here, oxygen has been removed from here. Next, we have got addition of hydrogen is also reduction. Chlorine plus H2S giving you sulfur plus HCl. So in this, if you see, this hydrogen gets added to the chlorine to form HCl. Once again, reducing agent is one that reduces other substances by providing electrons or by providing hydrogen or an electropositive ion. Examples are in solid we have got carbon, metals like metals, zinc, aluminum, copper, and sodium. They are reducing agent. Whereas in liquid we have got hydrogen peroxide, hydrogen iodide, and hydrogen bromide. So if you have noticed, then over here, hydrogen peroxide will act as both oxidizing and reducing agent. Now, the assignment for today. Assignment 3. Question number 1 is differences between cations and anions. Write down the two differences between. Question number 2. Define oxidation and reduction based on the electronic concept with an example of each. Question number 3. Write 3 differences between oxidation and reduction. Number 4. What are oxidizing and reducing agents? Give examples. And question number 5 is name a substance which act as both oxidizing and reducing agent. So complete your assignment and send it in my mail.